Welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. Y'all, guess what? Today is November the 12th. Yesterday was Veterans Day. I wanted to come on and post for the veterans, but like I suspected, those fourth graders carried some type of germ, and so you probably can hear it in my voice. So I was really resting yesterday. I did get out a little bit, but I'm out today and I'm not going down without a fight, I can tell you that. But I just wanted to say, like, I just went past one of the neighborhoods. It is 8:43 a.m. Now when I left the neighborhood, it was around 8 a.m. and children were out at the bus stop. Y'all, it is 46 degrees right now is what it's saying. It was 43 degrees. I feel for children that have to stand out in the cold at the bus stop. We are still doing this in 2025, having children to stand at the freaking bus stop. Now what if it gets to like in the 30s? Are they still going to be standing in the cold at the bus stop? And you want to know why people are getting sick, huh? I mean, I know this has been going on for years, but when do we stop the antics, stop the madness, because this is the way it's always been done, so we're going to keep doing it? When do we say we are tired of being robots, being like machines? When do we start treating ourselves as the human beings that we are, y'all? When does that happen? Or is that a problem? And you know, people are going to be like, oh, well, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. Yeah, but that's not the point. The point is this whole system needs to fall because it's already been broken when it was built. That's my point. Just because someone has always been doing it that way, and this is the only way you know, and because you have not trained your brain to think outside of the parameters of what the confinements of society has given you, doesn't mean that everybody thinks the same way. And that's the irritating thing about people. Just because this is the only thing that was introduced to them, such as religion, they feel like that's the only way. I've heard people, I've seen it in the comment section, Jesus is the only way. If you don't believe in Jesus, you're not saved. You're not a Christian. Who said that was the only way? And you know what? For the people that want to unsubscribe, because I don't need these people in my comment section or on the channel that has a one-dimensional mindset. You should have the freedom to think in a liberated fashion about life in general. Not because somebody forced something down your throat. And this goes for religion, this goes for politics, this goes for education, this goes for anything, even with health, even with your medical care. There are herbalistic doctors out here, but that's not pushed. Oh, we go to the doctor and we believe what the white lab coat people tell us. See, it's that type of training that has been indoctrinated in this country, and that's the problem. And then when you say something or speak out about it, hit dogs holler, such as hit dogs hollering in my comment section because it was a little highlight that YouTube posted from one of my videos. Without them listening to the full context of my live stream, they got triggered, and we're going to do a live stream about it because I was talking about a fourth grader. Now, he made it all the way to fourth grade, right? Decides that he's the line leader, right? So the teacher made him the line leader. Well, he decides to speed walk down the hallway with an attitude. And one of the kindergartner teachers caught the attitude because she spoke out and said something about it. I could hear her down the hall. And I said, you noticed it too? And like, yeah, well, you know, I don't understand. This is school. What's all the attitude about? He takes off running down the hall, unbeknownst to me. The other children told me. And then I saw another teacher say, oh, he went and ran underneath the tables, I think in the cafeteria, so he went a different way. My job is not to go chase an unruly child when I have 20 other children or 20 some other children to escort to the cafeteria. That's not my responsibility. And any hit dog that wants to holler in the comment sections, I really don't care. If you want someone to babysit these children, you go to the school and be a babysitter and a daycare worker. That is not the job title of what a substitute teacher does or a teacher does, okay? You want people to be a counselor, a coach, a nurse, a psychiatrist, a psychologist. You want them to be a BMT, a behavioral specialist, when they're not there for all of that. If you want someone to do all those titles for these children, then pay them 8 times the pay, because they're doing 8 different jobs, okay? I'm tired of it. And this little soft parenting mess, that doesn't work. Because back in the day, they didn't have all these titles for these children. Oh, well, this one has this type of special need and this one has this type of special need. Yeah, there's always going to be special need children, but also they are intelligent enough to know right from wrong. Stop using that as a handicap. And so when they get into society and they have to integrate into general population, do you think they're going to have someone holding their hand all throughout their adulthood? Unless you want to be there escorting them around every single day of your life. They have to learn how to integrate into society to the best of their abilities, because nobody is going to sit up there and cater to these children just because they want to have an outburst for anger. Then he comes back into the classroom later on with this lady talking about, oh, he has a ball that he has to that he's bouncing up and down and back and forth. Just let him have the ball. And something about, if he does something, then I can take it from him, like if he becomes unruly. I looked at her, I said, he better not hit me with that ball. So she went over there and spoke with him. She had some words with him. The rest of the day, he was okay. The very next day, he was fine. He was even asking me for permission to do stuff. May I go get such and such from across the class? Yeah. So he would. So my thing is, he was better behaved. He was well mannered. That lets me know that these children know what they're doing. Stop using these titles as a way to handicap them, because that's what you're doing when you want to keep talking about, oh, why don't you help the child instead of blaming him? Who blamed him? First of all, if you go back and listen to my video, I didn't blame anybody. Then you said I spoke ugly about a child. I didn't speak ugly about a child. I spoke about what the child did. He ran up the hallway, and I said that's not my responsibility. That's between him and the parents. They need to discipline their child. That's not speaking ugly. That's holding the parents accountable for their children's behavior when they're in a public setting. Because I know when I went to school, I was held accountable by my parents when I was in a public setting and even at home. So don't come in my comment section getting hypersensitive, and then you're going to talk about, oh, because I've worked with children and my child is autistic. Okay, nobody said that this boy was autistic. Usually the teacher leaves a note and lets us know if the child is autistic or not. Sometimes they might not. Whatever the case is, if he cannot handle being in a school setting, he shouldn't be in a public classroom setting. That's up to the adult of that child to put him in a school where he can actually integrate until he gets his behavior issues together. All right? Because that's not the teacher's job to deal with that type of nonsense. And I don't care who gets hypersensitive about it. Hit dogs are going to holler. Stay out of my comment section, because I will respond back and you're not going to like my response. Y'all take care. This is the words of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. Oh, and to the other person that typed, I read your description of your YouTube channel and that is not what you stand for. Stay the F off my page, because my YouTube description says that I talk about melanated issues as it impacts society, and I did say it takes a village to raise a child, and I wholeheartedly mean that, but that does not mean a village has to deal with unruly behavior. And if you are one of those people that does not understand that it takes accountability, then you're part of the village that needs to do your job, okay? So don't come in my comment section trying to school me and educate me on what my channel is about and what I stand for. Don't do it. Okay, because I'm not in the mood for nonsense. And I know one thing too, when you start elevating in life, you're going to have people that want to attack you. All right, that is just the energy shift here in America. People are overly and hypersensitive about nonsense. Stand in my comment section about your dumb, stay out of my comment section with your hypersensitivity. That's what I want to say. If you're hypersensitive, this channel is not for you. If you want the truth, from my experience, then you can stay on the page. But if you can't handle it, get off the page. Unsubscribe. I don't care. Nobody's going to bite their tongue because people can't handle hearing the truth. Oh well. Children need to be held accountable. Adults of those children need to be held accountable. It is not for the entire globe to take care of your child. And on top of it, you let your child go out in public with strangers acting unruly and see what happens to them, unaccompanied by an adult that actually knows that they're special needs, and see what happens to that child. Just because they're in a school setting, they understand the parameters of which the teachers have a confinement, and they take advantage of that. So stop it with the nonsense, y'all. This is Brown Girls Are Beautiful, and I endorse this message. I want to say continue to walk in your divinity, celebrate yourself, and stay blessed until next time, y'all.